one of the most exciting GOP figures in recent history, Sarah Palin has been able to mobilize new demographics of voters and even create a few new ones along the way. Her endorsement for a 2012 candidate could really tip the scales. Joining us now to discuss the 2012 election and some other subjects is former governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin. And Governor, I have to say, of course, we've been trying to work out the technical glitches. Folks would like to see you as well as hear you, but right now we've got you on the phone. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you. You know, we're 4,400 drive miles apart, so it's no wonder with atrocious weather in between that sometimes it just doesn't work, this hookup.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Regardless, I want to ask you what your take is on the 2012 field. You know, they're all vying to be the one true conservative. We've heard many of them claim the title. Who do you think's best in the running?
Well, it's going to be exciting to see what happens there in Iowa. You know, knowing the good people of Iowa, I think the traditional conservatives in this race will do well there, and that will be an indication on the first step of primaries and caucuses how the field will do. Bachman and Santorum, of course, they're known by many as the conservatives, and they'll do better, I think, than some Rhino pundits predict. Rick Perry, he's got the money in his coffers to have a good showing in Iowa, and Ron Paul, of course, will do well, I guarantee, because he's got that loyal, hardworking base of real independent patriots who know that he's spot on with his acknowledgement of domestic spending crisis that we face that's got to be addressed or we're going under. And, of course, Romney and Gingrich, they no doubt, I believe, will stay the front runners after Iowa, but it's going to be a competitive, good race in the state.
At what point will you endorse someone if you do plan to?
You know, my endorsement is going to be with sincerity and enthusiasm, and I am just not there yet, Shannon, with the field as it stands. And, you know, there's no need to endorse until that enthusiasm really is within me, in my gut. And I also believe that my endorsement and anybody else's really sometimes doesn't amount to a hill of beans when you consider the independent thinking and the wisdom of the voters. That they make up their own mind, and personal endorsement doesn't always, you know, it helps shape the race. So I don't put that kind of credence or credibility in my endorsement at all. But as soon as I feel that person who understands the fiscal crisis, especially that America faces, and knows what to do about it, then I will feel that enthusiasm and I will endorse, but I'm not ready yet.
Do you think that person does exist in the field as it now stands?
We'll see. I honestly don't know yet. The debates are good. The vetting via the media and via each candidate in their own way through the debates is good for voters. It's good for us to be able to know more of the person's experience and their goals for this nation and what it is that they have to offer. So as the process continues, more vetting will take place, and we'll all be able to make a good choice.
Well, the Tea Party was certainly a huge factor in the midterm congressional elections in 2010. Do you think that group will also have a very solid, strong voice in 2012?
I do, and remember that the Tea Party is not necessarily, in my mind anyway, considered a group. It's a movement. It's a grassroots movement of patriots who understand that we need to pick up the Constitution and follow that rule book as we govern our nation. And the movement is strong. I think it's going to continue to grow. And, yeah, I think that the Tea Party patriots who are independent and concerned about the fiscal health of our nation will continue to be very influential.
Whether you want to name names or not, do you have any concerns about any of the current GOP contenders, whether or not they truly hold to those constitutional ideals and conservative principles that a lot of folks hold as their absolute, you know, bottom line for a nominee?
Well, not naming names, but considering that some in this field have had opportunity, whether on a state level or in Congress, to engage in the sudden and relentless reform that we need on a state and a national level in government, and have not seized opportunity to engage in that reform. It gets a bit frustrating to listen to a candidate today talk about what they intend to do for their state and for our nation when they have had opportunity and they haven't done it yet. A little bit of frustration there when you consider the opportunities that haven't been seized to really turn things around and put government back on the side of the people. And that can really be applied to every single one of the candidates. And so, not naming names, but that applying to every candidate who's had opportunity and maybe regrets not taking the opportunity to put government back on the side of the people in the forums and the venues that they've been participants in. We certainly would hope that they are now committed to the reform that's needed.
And Governor, very quickly, we just have a few seconds left, but while we've got you, I know you're a person of faith. I just want to get your take on Tim Tebow and the controversy over him being so public about his faith.
I am so pro Tebow. He's unashamed of his Savior, Jesus of Nazareth. He knows that Jesus is going to rock your world when you give it all over to him, and he's bold about it. And, he knows that the Son of God should be honored and praised, and Tebow does that, and I respect it.
All right. Governor Sarah Palin, we thank you so much for weighing in. Always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.